I've noticed something very interesting happening over the course of the last week, over the course of the last couple of weeks, but mainly at the protests that I've attended. I was, the other day, I was at Treasury. Brittany Page and I went down there and talked to some folks and just witnessed what was taking place, took part in an uprising against Elon Musk's illegal, unconstitutional power grab to shutter government agencies, to hijack Americans' data, installing private servers at the Treasury to scrape who knows what kind of data. We don't know, because fundamentally the wrong part of this is the fact that there is no oversight. He's been appointed to a position of great power that is outside of the purview of congressional oversight, the co-equal branch of government that has a check on the executive. They're just skirting that altogether. And at the Treasury protest, which the next day we went to the Department of Labor, yesterday, I was face to face with an insurrectionist. You should check that video out. That was posted at 2 p.m. There was a different tone. And I watched video of other protests, because there are many taking place all throughout the city of Washington here in the district. And the tone is shifting. It's going from just general a protest and demanding action to now kind of, I don't want to say turning on Democrats, but a pointed, do your job, a pointed demand of Democrats to actually be an opposition party, to not just be meek and in the minority, and we're going to do what we can. We're going to find places to work with Republicans. We're going to try to find common ground. We'll try to make Donald Trump's agenda a little easier to achieve. That's kind of what a lot of people are feeling. And it's not just me who's noticing. I'm going to read a little bit from this Axios article, where they have also interviewed members of Congress, Democrats, who are saying, oh shit, something's up. People are fed up. People want us to act. They're demanding it. And now they're a little worried, because when your electorate, when your constituency is unhappy, the people who put you there, Democrats know they can also be removed. And that scares them. Here's the headline from Axios. Democrats' phones bombarded with calls to fight harder. Congressional Democrats' offices are being inundated by phone calls from angry constituents who feel the party should be doing more to combat President Trump and his administration. Some lawmakers feel their grassroots base is setting expectations too high for what Democrats can actually accomplish as the minority party in both chambers of Congress. They would be wrong. And this first quote, I have a tale to tell. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat of Connecticut, told Axios, what I think we need to do more is put the onus on Republicans so that the calls that we're getting are directed toward Republicans. You're in the opposition, brother. Richard Blumenthal, who was at the Treasury Department speaking, demanding, calling Elon Musk all kinds of invectives, yet only weeks prior, multiple times, twice in two separate interviews in 1 week, was calling Elon Musk a champion of free speech. You don't get it both ways, Richard Blumenthal, Democrat. You don't get it both ways. You don't get to cozy up and lick to brown nose. I'll keep it PG here. You don't get to brown nose Elon Musk by heaping praise upon him that is unwarranted, and then go to the Treasury when there's a bunch of Democrats there and demand action, calling out Elon Musk for his crimes. Be an opposition party, be a leader in the opposition, or get out of the way so someone can be. There has definitely been, this is a quote, there has definitely been some tension the last few days where people felt like you are calling the wrong people. You are literally calling the wrong people, said one House Democrat. Listen, again, if you're not going to do the job, if you're not going to oppose Donald Trump, resign so someone can. This is not a moment for finding common ground with a fascist. This is not a moment for aligning or realigning your priorities of policy to match Donald Trump's. This is a moment to save the republic. This is a moment for opposition. This is a moment for uprising, for protest, for clawing back the power granted us by the Constitution. Protected by the Constitution. These are natural rights that Republicans like to talk about all the time. We have the right to freedom of speech, which is not granted by the Constitution. It is protected by the laws girded therein. More than a dozen Democratic lawmakers and aides said in interviews with Axios that their offices received historically high call volumes in recent days. Some staffers said they haven't seen this many calls since seminal events like the October 7th attack, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, or even the Trump impeachment proceedings. Aaron Frischner, a spokesperson for Representative Don Beyer, a Democrat from Virginia, said his office phones have been ringing off the hook without pause since we opened yesterday morning. On social media sites such as Twitter and Blue Sky, another aide said, every Dem is getting lit up by the neo-resistance folks being like, do more. That sounds a little snarky and shitty in tone to me. The neo-resistance types. You mean concerned citizens who want a proper functioning government for which they pay. Get out of the way if you're not going to do the job that is required of you, neo-resistance types. Quote, we had the most calls we've ever had in one day on Monday in 12 years, said Representative Mark Pocan, Democrat of Wisconsin. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. And Representative Jim McGovern, Democrat of Massachusetts, who has served in Congress since 1997, told Axios, I can't recall ever receiving this many calls. People disgusted with what's going on, and they want us to fight back. I'm glad to hear Jim McGovern not bring a shitty tone when talking about it. He is a fighter. Typically, when I see clips of him, that's a guy I agree with. That's a guy I can get behind. We'll see. We will see. This is not a moment for team politics. This is not a moment for, oh, he's a Democrat, she's a Democrat, they can do no wrong. This is a moment to highlight and point out the people who are not doing the job, the people who are a little too comfortable in their position. We need results, not a team sport here. Final set of paragraphs. Progressive groups that have been leading the charge to flood Democrats' phone lines with calls for resistance are not about to let up. Quote, our member energy is high, and this won't be the last any office hears from everyday Americans who want us to fight harder to push back, said Britt Jakovich, a spokesperson for Move On. Indivisible spokesperson Mary Small said her group has led 31,400 calls to senators and just under 4,000 to House members in the last 2 weeks. And then finally, quote, I'm not surprised members are experiencing a high volume of calls because I think people are scared and looking for leadership from Democrats on how to fight back, small-toed Axios. Look, here's the number. You should memorize this number. Certainly program this phone number into your phone as a contact. The United States Capitol Switchboard, 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. That is the United States Capitol Switchboard. You'll call, an operator will answer. You will either tell them your senator or congressperson you want to reach, or you'll give them your zip code and they'll know what it is and they will connect you. A staffer will answer the phone. You don't have to get into a debate with them. You're just giving them information. You're giving them their marching orders as the boss, as the employer, as the person who put your particular representative or senator into their position. You say, don't do this, do this. This is what I want. These are my opinions. Put it on the record. This should be a daily occurrence for you. I have people in my life who I know who are on the phone with their senators and representatives every single day to tell them what they believe should be done. And I believe we should all be doing this. We need to inundate them, strike the fear of our power as voters, as citizens of this country, to have them actually do their jobs and be an opposition party. What do you think? You can comment below. I would love to engage about this topic. You could also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, you can email me, as always, daily@dollemore.com. I would love for every voicemail you send me, you send at least 3 to members of Congress. If you want to help support this work financially, I would appreciate you considering it. You can click the join button below, see what's involved. For $1.99 a month, you can help me reach the millions of people I do with this message. And you can take part in that. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you very much. Your activism, your passion for making this country and by extension, the world a better place is not forgotten. It does not go unappreciated. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine and take care of one another.